Have you experienced when the universe is trying to prevent you from doing something that apparently doesn't want you to do for various reasons? That's how I felt when I was trying to review The Rings of Power Season 2 Episode 5. Let me just set the scene. I spent the last 2 days trying to make a review for The Rings of Power. The day before yesterday, I made a very concise 1 hour long clip detailing every scene and explaining and giving my thoughts. During the editing, on the 20-minute mark, my microphone decided to just unalive itself and starts scrambling the noise. So what I did, I decided, okay, I cannot do that again, I'm gonna do a shorter review. So yesterday, I did another clip. Much shorter, more compacted, explaining just a few scenes, a bit more quicker, because I did realize that some of my thoughts were way too long and I didn't sound very concise too, because I was just explaining myself to death. The raw video turned out to be 26 minutes long, and with editing I would have gotten it down to around 22. Once again, around the 18-minute mark, my microphone decided to scramble again, and I tried to re-record the last parts, and when I tried to record it, the microphone suddenly decided to change all the effects and everything, and I could not get a proper audio from it. I tried everything, I tried effects, I even recorded myself an hour later just saying random stuff, and it worked fine. So it wasn't the microphone, it wasn't the tech, it wasn't anything. I've done 2-3 hour long streams with this microphone, with this tech. It's not that. I don't know what it is, but I've decided to take the hint. Apparently, probably Amazon is messing with my tech or something. It hacked my computer or just messing with everything that I'm trying to do. And for those of you who don't know what that was a joke. So today I'm going to do a very compact attempt at reviewing the episode. And with that said, let's go. Good day, ladies and gents, I'm DIscussThing, and this is a very short, very concise review of The Rings of Power Season 2 Episode 5. I'm gonna start with a summary of the whole episode. It was not as bad as the previous episode. In fact, what I read in the past few days on Twitter is that it's probably reported as the best one of the season, and if the rumors are true, this is the highlight of the season coming from Amazon. And I gotta say, yes, it is a bit better than what we've previously seen, but it's in no way good. It's filled with dumb stuff, it's filled with lack of logic, it's filled with dumb conversations and dumb lines that are presented as trying to sound intelligent. Something like Game of Thrones Season 8. To give you one example of this, the dwarves are looking for the sun and they're mining in the mines, which turn out to be a cliffside, and they're basically just punching the wall on the cliff, not underground, and they find the sun and they punch through to the outer world. How do they not know where they are in their own kingdom and in the mountain? I don't know, but this is something that is not explained. It needed to be presented as the ring that during the old carries is responsible for them finding hope again. I don't know how that happens. Moving on. And then during the old provides the most idiotic speech ever, saying that they're not slaves to the sun, they're not slaves to the day-night cycle, they take the sun to them. And I was just like, what the fuck do you mean? You are slaves of the sun because you're searching for it to provide you with the necessary light to grow your crops underground, and you're bound to the same day-night cycle, and even more so, you're punching little holes so you get even less sunlight than all the other people that are living in Middle Earth. And this is just a stupid line, a stupid monologue that he did to his people just to get them hyped. And it was just like, I'm gonna talk bullshit, but I'm gonna talk them in such a way that it will get people excited. It was stupid, unnecessary. It was presented to be as this epic scene that there once again is hope for the dwarves, and it's just, it made me cringe because it was unnecessary. We had another idiotic scene from the dwarves, and the dwarves are the ones with the main idiotic scenes in this episode. Near the marketplace where Tisa and Durin the Young are shopping for a gift, Tisa discovers a hole or a crack in the wall after dropping a crystal ball and very unfunny like tries to get it, constantly bumping into people with some idiotic funky music in the background like it was some funny silly scene. And she finds the crack right next to one of the stands from the marketplace, and she's actually able to go through it, and she finds like this big chamber with lakes and stuff. And I was like, okay, if the dwarves have been there for generations and you have the marketplace, nobody basically went through there, nobody explored this cave. There's water, there's some rocks, there's stuff. It looks beautiful, by the way. Why is nobody there in the first place if they have been there for so long and they're constantly expanding their kingdom and their chambers and everything? And then I thought they're probably gonna present it like this was a recent event when there was tremors in the mountain from Mordor erupting. And I'm still like, okay, so this is something new. This is something someone will see that it has changed. Are they not going to explore it? It's like nobody notices the huge crack in the wall that wasn't there before or hasn't noticed it for generations. She's just like, okay, she's gonna find it because she needs to hear the Balrog when she starts singing in that hall to find her crystal ball. And that's exactly what she does. And she hears something nameless and ancient and evil stuff. And nobody else noticed that chamber. Is again stupid when you put any sort of logic in it. And of course we get the dialogue like they need to stop digging, they need to take this thing seriously, and Uridiel says we're gonna dig deeper. So rehash dialogue from Lord of the Rings that the dwarves dug too deep and awakened an ancient evil. Member berries all around once again, even though less than last episode. We had Elrond reaching Lindon on foot toward Gil-galad, that there's an orc army going to Eregion. And this is one of the other problems that are consistent with the show. The time compression is done very badly because he's on foot running a huge distance while the orcs are going to Eregion, and we get no concise time skips as to how much time has passed because everything in the episode seems to happen in a matter of 2 days tops, and it happens so fast that you don't get any sense of when and where it's happening, because at one point the orcs are still traveling and they're in their camp. The other, you see Elrond running to Gil-galad, then he's at Gil-galad, then the orcs at the end of the episodes are right in front of Eregion, and Gil-galad in the episode has still not decided to go there, and he's using rehashed dialogue that they cannot deal with both armies alone, like Sauron and Adar. And at the same time you got in between the making of the rings for men, which is another stupid thing because Sauron is just like, if you're not gonna help me, because Celebrimbor refuses to help him with the making of the 9 rings because the humans are corrupt, he decides to make them himself and just somewhat assert his dominance over Celebrimbor, which would have worked to see how Sauron's influence runs deeper and deeper into a region, but you needed to stretch it out a little bit further. We have one of the seas that, let's say a test ring or something, makes that elf smith that I forgot the name, but apparently her name, as per my conversations with someone on Twitter, says that she's a jewel maker. That's how her name translates, which is okay. She becomes invisible. She sees the unseen world, which is another weird thing because I thought all elves could see the unseen world, especially in that age. And she sees the true face of Sauron, but somehow Sauron manages to twist it that it was actually Celebrimbor because he was twisted and his spirit was diminished and broken from making the 3 rings, even though in the scene Celebrimbor goes into the room way after she had put on the ring, and he's actually the one who takes the ring off of her because he catches her while she was invisible. So if she was seeing this, wouldn't she have seen the movement and, let's say, the fiery figure that she explained approaching her and trying to take her hand, while Anatar or Sauron is in the room the whole time, but somehow manages to convince her that it was not him? This is another thing that doesn't make sense. It's just doesn't make sense scene wise, because if you put any sort of logic, it ceases to work at all. And we get another cringy dialogue between Anatar and that Smith girl where he basically acknowledges how much he's passionate about Galadriel, because that girl reminds him of her, which is sadly in line with what they're trying to present and what they're trying to ship, which when it happens, because I'm sure it will happen, will be the biggest outcry of the century regarding the show, and I know how much this will crumble the show. There's several other like dumb scenes. There's one pointless scene where Valandil, that Isildur's friend, dies after being brought up and being focused on for the majority of the scenes with him. He fights that idiot of a son of Pharazôn, who I'm dubbing Joffrey Malfoy because he basically incorporates those two characteristics, and he's just in the series to be hated just as much as Joffrey, and to have people probably have an emotion that they're waiting for him just to be killed or be mauled to death or punished in any way, just like people were waiting for it to happen in Game of Thrones. Because other than that, he has no personality whatsoever, which is another problem. None of these people had distinct personalities. None of the characters have something for you to latch on or to be hopeful about and be excited about. They're just incredibly two-dimensional and incredibly boring outside of what they're supposed to do. They don't have any development whatsoever, which is another thing that I am extremely sad about the show, because if there was something for me to take away from the whole series, is that the scenery, the effects, the way they presented the cities, the kingdoms, it's amazing, it's nice, it's visually pleasing. But that's just it. That's all there is. It's like a beautiful wrapping on a package that is full of dog shit. That's exactly how I can describe the series at this point. And that's pretty much it. The episode did not include any Harfoots, any Gandalf, any Tom Bombadil wannabe. It included very little of Galadriel, and it was a bit better. It did have at least some effort into trying to present it as a concise show, although it failed mostly. And if the rumors are true that this is the best episode that they have created, then I think we've reached the highlight, and it's gonna only get worse from here on out. And this is sad, because there's something that I want to mention. I watched one of Nerdrolic and the gang's streams, and I don't remember who mentioned it, that they actually wanted to like this series, and I feel that because I truly wanted this series to succeed. I wanted to see more of Tolkien's world ever since it was mentioned that it was in production, and I wanted to see all the glory of the Second Age, even on the First Age, and I wanted to see that onto the screen ever since I watched the trilogy. And to see this instead of what could have been is just sad, especially considering the budget that the TV series is spending on the production and on everything. So while I do think that they'll continue with their plan for 5 seasons, as I mentioned in my last video, I do think that they're also already considering scrubbing the whole project, because it's not going well. The ratings are dropping, the viewership is dropping, the interest is dropping, and even the die-hard fans that are constantly posting on Twitter are becoming less and less and less. So especially when you have mainstream media like IGN or other websites that are already shifting to either a middle ground or negative reviews, then you know that this show is in trouble. And it's kind of sad. I wanted it to succeed. I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be respectful of Tolkien's lore. I wanted to see a lot of things that I've read about, and it's just sad that we will never get to see them, because the show is a complete perversion of the lore, complete perversion of Tolkien's spirit, and complete perversion of his works and what he presented to the world. So anyways, that's my review. I hope it's short enough that my mic hasn't already uncanned itself. I do hope you enjoyed. I do want to hear your opinions about the episode and about the show. Tell me everything that you wish to tell me down in the comments below. You can reach me and connect with me on my social media, and if you want to support me in my quest to help animals in shelters and homeless animals, please visit my Patreon. And if you're feeling it, become a patron. All of the proceeds that I receive there, are 100% going for animal shelters, for donations to local and global shelters, for helping building houses for homeless animals, for providing them with food and veterinary care. If you decide to, I'll be very, very happy to have you. Thank you very much. This has been DIscussThing, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.